Welcome to Mavs Report. Today we bring you breaking news that is shaking up the NBA world, a development that could significantly impact the future of the Dallas Mavericks. If you are a devoted Mavericks fan and want to stay informed about every major update, trade, and analysis surrounding your favorite team, make sure to subscribe to the Mavs Report channel. Turn on notifications so you don't miss any crucial details that could shape the team's future. Now, let's dive straight into the biggest headline of the day. Klay Thompson's harsh reality with the Mavericks. One of the most shocking developments involves Klay Thompson, a seasoned veteran who made a high-profile move from the Golden State Warriors to the Dallas Mavericks. Thompson, who had spent his entire career in the championship-winning culture of the Warriors, believed he was stepping into a promising situation in Dallas. With superstars Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving already on the roster, the general consensus was that Thompson's elite perimeter shooting would serve as the missing piece to push the Mavericks into true title contention. However, within just a few months of his arrival, the situation took a dramatic and unexpected turn. Nico, the Mavericks' general manager, made a blockbuster decision that shocked the basketball world. He traded Luka Doncic to the Los Angeles Lakers in exchange for Anthony Davis. While some initially saw this as a bold move with high-risk, high-reward potential, it quickly unraveled into a complete disaster. Before Davis could even complete a single full game for the Mavericks, he suffered a severe injury, sidelining him indefinitely. The team's situation only worsened when Kyrie Irving sustained a torn ACL in his left knee, effectively ending his season prematurely. To add to the turmoil, Jaden Hardy also suffered an injury, depleting the Mavericks roster even further. Within a matter of weeks, Dallas went from being a team filled with promise to one struggling with injuries and uncertainty. If Doncic had remained in Dallas, Thompson would have been in a much more favorable situation, thriving as a top-tier offensive option alongside one of the league's most gifted playmakers. Instead, he now finds himself as one of the few remaining key players in a team that appears to lack clear direction. With both Irving and Davis unavailable, Thompson has been forced into the role of the Mavericks' primary offensive reference under head coach Jason Kidd. However, without a strong supporting cast around him, the odds of success have diminished significantly. Beyond the on-court struggles, controversy has plagued the Mavericks organization behind the scenes. Since the beginning of February, the franchise has exhibited signs of internal disorganization and growing desperation. First, the front office attempted to publicly justify the Doncic trade, seemingly in an effort to calm frustrated fans. However, their explanation did little to ease tensions. The situation escalated further when a fan was controversially removed from the arena for merely making a critical comment directed at the team's management on camera. To make matters even worse, the organization has reportedly been planning to raise ticket prices, further fueling outrage among an already discontented fan base. For Thompson, the stark contrast between his time in Golden State and his current reality in Dallas has been overwhelming. Having been accustomed to a well-structured, winning environment, he now finds himself in a franchise that appears directionless, with success feeling more and more like a distant dream. Although a return to the Warriors is out of the question, one has to wonder if Thompson is already experiencing regret over his decision to join the Mavericks. With the team's uncertain future and growing instability, what seemed like a fresh start for him may now feel like a major misstep. One thing remains certain: a season that initially carried so much hope has rapidly transformed into one filled with frustration and disappointment. NBA analyst calls for Nico firing after Irving's injury. The Mavericks' general manager, Nico has found himself at the center of intense criticism following the tumultuous events of the past few months. Between the controversial trade of Luka Doncic and the devastating injury to Kyrie Irving, Harrison's leadership has been called into question by fans and analysts alike. One of the loudest voices calling for immediate action is Yahoo Sports analyst Kevin O'Connor. On his podcast, The Kevin O'Connor Show, the commentator did not hold back in his assessment of the situation, directly urging Mavericks owner Patrick Dumont to take decisive action. Patrick Dumont needs to fire Nico Harrison today, O'Connor stated emphatically. This injury presents an opportunity for him to regain the trust of the fans by admitting this was a catastrophic mistake. Harrison's decisions have put the franchise in jeopardy, and it's time to acknowledge that. O'Connor went on to criticize the Mavericks management for its passive approach, stating that Dumont allowed these missteps to occur without intervention. Dumont watched all of this unfold and did nothing, he added. Now, he has a chance to start the rebuilding process by taking accountability and steering the franchise in a new direction. Harrison's handling of the situation has also drawn scrutiny from other respected voices in the basketball world. NBA insider Tim Cato pointed out that Irving's injury might have been exacerbated by excessive playing time, as he had been averaging an exhausting 39.3 minutes per game in the previous 10 contests. Meanwhile, ESPN's Rachel Nichols highlighted that the rationale behind the Doncic trade, which was largely based on concerns over his injury history, now seems flawed, as the Mavericks find themselves in an even worse predicament than before. Currently sitting in 10th place in the Western Conference standings, the Mavericks are at serious risk of missing the playoffs altogether. This drastic fall from grace is in stark contrast to where the team was just a year ago when they were competing in the NBA Finals. Harrison's decision on Jalen Brunson comes under fire. While the Luka Doncic trade has dominated discussions, some analysts believe that Harrison's failure to retain Jalen Brunson may have been an even greater blunder. Former NBA player Chandler Parsons weighed in on the situation during FanDuel's Run It Back show, calling the decision to let Brunson walk one of the worst mistakes in Mavericks front office history. Not re-signing Jalen Brunson for $55 million might have been a bigger mistake than trading Luka, Parsons said. Brunson, who was originally drafted by Dallas in 2018, had steadily developed into a high-level guard. Yet, despite his clear potential, the Mavericks opted against offering him a 4-year extension ahead of the 2021-22 season. Brunson went on to have a breakout season and ultimately signed with the New York Knicks as a free agent, leaving Dallas without a reliable secondary playmaker. Now, with the Mavericks struggling to remain competitive, fans and analysts alike are left questioning the franchise's long-term direction. With pressure mounting on Harrison, his tenure as GM could be hanging by a thread. The real question is, will Patrick Dumont take the necessary steps to course-correct before it's too late?